You are listening to the Off the Top of the Dome Piece podcast. Hey guys, and welcome to the Off the Top of the Dome Piece podcast, where we sit down with seemingly ordinary people and get them to tell us their extraordinary stories. We talk about anything and everything. Nothing's off topic and nothing's too taboo. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hey guys, and welcome to the debut edition of the Off the Top of the Dome Piece podcast, brought to you by DubzPodSquad.com. Now, before we get started with our guest today, Cavan Lewis, I would like to talk to you a little bit about, since this is the debut edition, people ask me, what is the Off the Top of the Dome Piece podcast? It's a life podcast. It's a podcast about life's struggles and life's journeys for the seemingly ordinary person. It's a podcast for people to tell their story. I know that a lot of people would like to tell their story, and everybody does have a story to tell, I believe. A lot of people don't really know about forums to do that, and hopefully I can get the ball rolling on this podcast and show people that there is a forum and, that they can express their story. Now, basically right now, since it's just starting off, it's me sitting down with my friends and recording the conversations that we have, because I do believe that all my friends are special people and they have a good story. My name is Warren Gaskins, and I'm the host of this podcast, and I just hope that you guys really enjoy what I'm trying to do. I'm a people watcher. I like to think that I understand the human condition and the human nature of people. I hope that everybody that I get to sit and podcast with, that I can get their story across. And show, just a guy that you see walking down the street that you would never think twice about, their story. What's their life like? What have they grown up with? People are so quick to judge people without knowing their story and knowing the circumstance. I've been a fan of a lot of podcasts, and I wondered if I could do it, if I could try to put things together and get people to sit down and record with me. And so far, it's been so good. I mean, I've had to do a lot of begging, but I guess that comes with the territory because, like I said, I do believe everybody has a story, but some people think they don't, and they're more humbled than anything to know that I would like to have them on the podcast. Today's guest is going to be Cavan Lewis. He's a real good friend of mine, and everybody that we know, our little circle of friends, everybody seems to gravitate towards Cavan, and a lot like the glue that holds the circle together. He's had a very interesting life, I think. I've grown up with him, known him for the past 10, 11, maybe 12 years, and I've lived with him a couple of times. I know his family. He knows my family. He's my best friend. I just really hope that I can get his story across to you. Now, the audio for the podcast was done before I got my equipment, so please bear with me. I'm recording with my cell phone, which is a Galaxy S 4G Blaze, and the audio, surprisingly enough, wasn't that bad. So just take that into consideration, and I hope that you enjoy the show. Alright, see, this is the part that I get self-conscious about.
About what?
About when I talk to this shit.
You're not technically talking to...
Well, I'm gonna talk to it.
What? Don't talk to it, talk to me.
Because I gotta tell people...
So what are we breaking the third rule by talking about the phone?
No, not even talking about the phone. Being like, hello people, I'm sitting here with my buddy Cavan. He's been a really good friend of mine for, 10, 11 years now?
Was it been that long?
I mean, this is 2001, 2002.
Yeah, wow. That's two things. We're getting old, and
time
flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
How corny was that, though?
There were the high fivers now.
I don't know. That and the time fiving, having fun.
I
hate myself already.
when I would record music before, I used different names, and one of them was a hug and a high five.
A hug and a high five?
Yeah.
That sounds like something that would cost $20 in certain places. Just give me a quick hug and a high five.
You're a funny guy.
That's like the lowest The lowest, not the lowest, the cheapest thing you can get from a hooker is a hug and a high five.
A high five?
A hug and a high five for $5. There you go. We're gonna start a new trend. Go out and get yourself a hug and a high five.
Bro, I'm gonna go through and pick and pull what I actually want to take from this conversation. So
it's 1 minute in, and we don't even know what we're talking about.
Well, we're gonna get there. This podcast with you, I think, is going to be different than the ones that I plan on doing with other people, just because you have a good story.
A good story?
I think you do. I really do.
Autobiography of me.
Yeah, a live podcast.
I'll play WoW a lot.
There's more to you than that.
I don't know if you can say that because of copyright things, but I do. I play WoW.
Well, that's just a plug for WoW.
Yeah, there you go. Woo!
Send us free shit.
I want to raise the Naga.
Like I said, I do think you really do have a good story. There's been some tragedies, some triumphs in your life, and you've been through some bad times. You lived through bad times, constant bad times, always doing your best to make people feel better, and not necessarily getting that back in return. You get what I'm saying at all?
Maybe, I guess. I don't really see it that way. I try not to. But I mean, I can maybe understand. I don't really see like a whole lot of tragedy. Yeah, there's certain things that make me sad, but well, you know, we have a pretty nice life. I mean, I don't have much. I'm not a great success or anything like that, but I'm happy. I like the people that are around me, and I think I got a lot of love.
That's what I'm saying. Because like we were talking before, he said that you kind of moved around.
What are you asking me?
I just want to thoroughly get shit out of you to listen. People listen to this. I don't want them to say, "Who the fuck is Cavan Wade?" They're gonna be like, "This guy, who's Cavan Wade?"
Cavan Wade.
Yeah. And I think by the power of me and you, we can do that.
I have a bunch of people looking for me. They'll be so disappointed when they find. Oh, nervous, I guess. I don't know.
What are you nervous about? I'm the one that's supposed to be nervous. I'm interviewing you.
I'm saying, there's nobody here. And I'm still
There's nobody here. It's just me and you, brother.
Okay. Right. I still don't get what you're asking me, though.
Your roots. What are your roots?
My roots.
Your roots in life. The things that make you the person you are now. What, you know what I'm saying? Like a background on you.
Oh, like why I do things I do?
Yeah, and what certain events in your life make you feel the way you do at certain things, or feel the way you do at all. Because I know you're an inspirational person. You inspired me a lot.
I did not have a lot of money growing up. Just the circumstance. Stuff happens. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe that's the point. Like, I don't really see it as a big deal, but other people might, you know? Like, I've lived in hotels when I was younger, and Lost Forest when I was growing up. It was my dad and my mom, my brother, and Bull. And we stayed there for a while. And then I didn't understand when I was little, but we ended up losing the house. My dad lost it because he didn't understand the concept of balloon payments. He was never really good with writing or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, him and my mom split up, and my mom went to do her thing, and I went with Dad to the country. That's why I grew up for about four years or something like that in Amelia / Powhatan / Cumberland, the sticks. Yeah.
So when you say slash this slash that, I mean, were you moving from place to place, or was you were staying with your dad? Did your dad just not really? Would he go to one place and like fucking do his thing for a while, and then that would fall apart, then move to the next place, or was it just like?
Well, life sorta, kinda, maybe certain places had problems that couldn't be fixed. I wouldn't say so much as like fell apart, but for instance, one of the houses we lived in when I was a kid in Cumberland had rats the size of small guinea pigs.
Oh, wow.
It was ridiculous, dude. Like a 10-pound bag of dog food, whatever, they're big, right?
Yeah.
But we would cut a hole in the top of it so we could pour it in Bull's bowl, and they would stand on their back legs and eat out of it.
Wow.
Like, it was ridiculous. It's come to find out because it was a duplex,
mm-hmm.
and we lived on the bottom. Yeah, we lived on the bottom, and the lady above us, she was a cripple or something / diabetic. I don't know, but she had been stuffing her trash under the house instead of taking it. Because in Cumberland, you don't have people that come pick up your trash. It's the sticks. You take it to the garbage. So she had just been stuffing it under the house. So there's just like this massive fucking like rodent problem.
Wow.
So I mean that's why we had to move. So some circumstances might have been more in due to the fact that maybe we didn't pay bills or something like that. But that, it's always been.
Were you ever just like?
My family's always been that like off the grid type, so to speak. I mean, you know me. I'm grateful for everything, and it seemed bad at the time. I remember that house though with the rodent problem. I could ride my bike in the living room because it was that big.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, but we had good times. Me and my brother, growing up. I mean, it's where I learned how to shoot guns and stuff. I guess.
As a country, your dad really into guns, or did he hunt? Or?
I was always around guns, man. Even when I was little, they used to hold me up like to shoot 22s and stuff like that when I was like 3 or 4. Like
what?
Most kids don't. I mean, I'm not advocating it or whatever, because I don't use a gun except for protection. I'm not a hunter. I guess it just kind of went the other way from that, but it wasn't because I wasn't raised with it yet. I mean, I've shot fully automatic AK-47s, and I mean, just crazy amounts of guns when I was little. Friends, when I was crazy young, I always kind of just, I got in where I fit in, man. Maybe that's why I do the things I do, is because.
I mean, what was your home life like?
My home life was great. My home life was awesome. I mean, I had a really
What kind of
childhood.
What kind of morals were instilled in you as a child?
Morals were instilled. You knew right and wrong. We were supposed to do certain things.
Knowing you and growing up with you in high school, your mom always kind of seemed like she was a very understanding of the human nature, as far as, I know you shouldn't be doing this, but like you said earlier, you're going to do it anyway. You're going to find any means you can to do it. So me saying no is just pushing you away from me trying to help you understand it.
Well, to a certain extent. My mom loves me. My mom loves me and my brother to death. She would always do whatever she could to, make us happy. And she didn't have a lot of discipline. It's like me in anime. I love me some cartoons.
What's your favorite anime?
Oh, that's a hard question. I love anime. I guess it'd be like a toss up between Bleach and the Boondocks. People will be like, Boondocks isn't anime, but it's still anime to me. I mean, I like Afro Samurai. Shampoo is really amazing. Bleach is awesome. I just like anime in general, man. Any really good anime I can get behind.
What draws you to anime?
I've always loved cartoons, man. I just have. I don't care to watch other people. People watch something you can do every day. I don't give a crap that, certain reality people do this or that. Like, oh, blah, blah, got into a fight with blah, blah. I'm like, I don't care.
Give a shit.
Yeah. But these, no, don't get me wrong. I mean, I love movies and shit like that. I almost sound like I said I love boobies. I do love boobies, by the way. But,
just to say we did. Yeah. But, what was your family life? When did your parents split up?
5, 6.
5 or 6?
I think. Yeah, something like that. Because we lived in Lost Forest for a while, and then we lost the house, and then I moved out to the country with my dad, and we stayed there for a while, and then I came to Hopewell when I was like 9 or 10, and then I stayed in Hopewell. No, maybe. I remember I went to Hopewell schools, though, like elementary school. That's where I met Drew and them. So yeah,
Prince George Elementary?
No, I went to Hopewell.
Went to DuPont?
Yeah, I went to DuPont.
Right on.
Yeah, I went to DuPont for 5th grade, and that's another reason I got into anime, man. Because I've always been a dork, man. It's the kind of stuff attracts me. I guess growing up around my mom and stuff like that, being the way she is, my mom has such an imagination on her. Sometimes it's hard not to get pulled into it. I love magic, man. I like spells and video games and card games and comic books and anime. I'm just a dork. I can't help it.
Right on. Was your dad? That seems like kind of like a dynamic, because it seems like your mom has this more creative, intellectual imagination. You don't really have to do stuff. That's what she's projecting to you. But it seems like when you were with your dad was more or less like, let's go fucking shoot guns.
Well, my dad.
I don't know why I said guns, but
it's a laser gun. No, there's more to my dad than that, though. My
that's what I want to know.
My dad played guitar.
Did
Yes, he played guitar. There's pictures of my dad playing guitar. I haven't seen him in
Was he any good?
years. He played a couple songs. He was about as good as I am. He had songs that he could play and sing to. I mean, that's where I got into music from. My dad could actually sing pretty well. My dad was. They were wild child, though, man. My mom was a biker. My dad was a biker. They kind of got together. My dad's always had guns because he's always been able to be
Is
like,
your
hey.
dad? Was your dad a gangster
No,
by any means?
he was a good old boy.
A good boy.
No, I mean like he could be. He didn't. He grew up fighting. Dad used to always talk about his old fights and stuff like that. My dad was like, he was cocky for his size. He always like, I might be little, but I'll beat you up.
Oh, that's where you get it from.
No, I don't beat people up.
You try to take on
Scrawny.
that fucking 18-wheeler.
Whatever. That was.
He came out with a crowbar and Cavan was like, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Bring it on.
I was worried about my mom. I don't care if people are mean to me. I don't care. When you try to hurt people I like or I love, then I get really mad.
That's cool. So, I mean, was there ever any kind of talk of religion?
But growing up, I was raised Wiccan.
Raised Wiccan? Was your dad Wiccan
Well, no, my dad was not Wiccan. My dad was Baptist. He was one of those people that found Jesus, though. He wasn't a he was
Have
Christian.
You seen the downside of up?
He was Christian if you asked him. You know what I'm saying?
But he didn't necessarily practice it, or
Not towards the end. Towards the end, he did. He became very religious, which I can understand. But I mean, he never pushed anything on me. He always just saw the best in me.
That's good.
I mean,
But
it didn't matter what I did.
Inspiring person for you, or
yeah, my dad always did the best he could for people he considered worthy. He would try to help. He would do his best. He had a lot of heart. It was good. I mean, yeah, he had his mistakes, and so does everybody. My dad taught me a lot about the world as far as inspiring.
Like what kind of thing? I mean, there's
that you can be who you are in the light of any circumstances. Just because shit happens doesn't mean you have to be an asshole because of it.
It's a good thing to hear, because at a young age, because was there not necessarily gullible, but you're very open to to what people are gonna say, because you're learning everything.
But when you're young,
yeah, and for somebody to go that young and to say kind of stuff like that you don't try to change, don't be who somebody wants you to be. Be yourself at that young of an age, because more or less now it's when they get to high school. That's when everything changes.
That's the way both my parents have always been, though.
So what made them split up?
I don't really know. Man, to be honest with you, I was really young. I think it was because my dad cheated or something, or had another woman on the side. I don't know. He was young. They were both young. They were 20-something.
When they split up, did that take a bigger toll on your dad or your mom? Or I mean, did you see? Was there any
mom
kind
was
of
like, you do what you do. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't understand. I was like 5. I barely knew what was up.
I mean, was there just anything? Did you just not be like, I'm going to see my mom? Oh, now I'm going to see my dad. That's all it was. You just like, hey mom, hey dad. It wasn't necessarily dad.
Well, mom left us with the house. Mom was paying for everything. My dad had gotten hit by the truck. He was on disability or something like that. And she left us with a house and moved out. She said it would be better for us. We had a house and we didn't have to move. So it was weird not, seeing mom for a while because we had always had, the family. But she'd still come over and bring us groceries and all kinds of stuff. And then when we moved from the house, it's not that she didn't come out all the time, but she only could come out when she could. She worked so hard, My mom's always worked hard. So I didn't get to see her as much as my dad at first. It was just me and my dad and my brother.
Your dad, your brother. How's your relationship with your brother going up? Did your brother try to protect you or shield you from anything?
My brother was always protective of me as far as responsibility, He's an older brother. He doesn't want to see anything happen to me, especially not on his watch. You know what I mean? He'd be in super bad trouble, right?
Yeah.
But we always did shit. He always, got into something. Rubber band. I always looked up to my brother,
I looked up to my brother too, yeah. I can understand that.
I always wanted to be as cool as him because I didn't know. He always had the video games first, and whatever he wanted to do, I was down because I was the younger brother and I didn't have, a whole lot of friends except for at school.
Yeah.
We used to do some stupid stuff, though.
Yeah, that's what it's because...
I was a mean kid, though, man.
You were a mean kid?
I was a mean kid.
Why?
I don't know, I should have got the crap beaten out of me more than once or twice for the things I've done to my brother when I was little.
Like what? Oh, I gotta hear this.
He made me do this because my dad wasn't around a whole lot. A lot of it was him watching me. My brother helped raise me.
Where's your dad at?
Working or doing his thing. I don't know. I couldn't tell you where he was. But, so a lot of times it was like me and my brother walking, because we wouldn't have food sometimes. We'd have to like walk to the place where my grandma worked to get like dinner and stuff like that. So she would fix us up with like to-go plates of meatloaf and stuff like that. And we'd take it back and eat it. But,
the sirens.
I know, right? Yay, hope.
I'm recording a podcast, assholes.
It's already at 20 minutes. The other one was at 15.
Somebody's getting shot.
I feel like.
And I'm like, fuck you.
I know, right? It's dick.
I know you as an artiste.
An artiste? I wouldn't go that far.
You have a very open mind towards the world, and the thing that really, you're such a sweet guy. You really are, and I don't know why you keep getting shit on in life. You know, but you make the best of it.
They don't even know me. He's like, you get shit on in life. Dude, that's such a bad thing to say.
Man, I can edit it out.
Okay. You should edit
I'm not going to, though. But I can. No. But these are things that we never really talk about, though.
My burdens are my burdens.
You take on other people's burdens, too.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
I just try to help. That's all you can do, man.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. You can only do what you do because you would expect. Not even because you would expect. Because it needs to be done, you know? Like, when it comes to you guys, I love you guys, man. I don't want to see y'all go through anything bad. That's just me as a person. If I care about you, then I don't want... If you need help and I can do something to prevent it, then why not, you know? I don't care about y'all guys bringing it back. I mean, it's to go without saying. I mean, that's just the type of people I try to surround myself with, though. You know, there's a lot of people out there that wouldn't, you know, do what you do back. Sometimes I can't make good on my promises. Sometimes I fail. And you guys have always still done whatever y'all could to help me, so. Like you said, I've been through some ups and downs, and, you know, a lot of the times the people that stuck around are still around.
So, the reason I say you're an artist is because you used to write. I mean, do you still write now, or?
I haven't written anything in a while besides, like, I like to write sometimes on my own time.
Where does your inspiration come from writing? I mean, is there a specific mindset that you get yourself into?
No. I get certain ideas, and I try my best to make sense of what's in my head. I'm not one of those writers that's... Well, it depends. Are you talking about, like, my short stories, or, like, my poetry, or my songs, or whatever?
Well, no.
When I was younger, I had ideas that seemed like I could say something without putting it out there. I guess you could say that. I'd storylines and people, and I don't know, maybe I've just always been into like an imaginary kind of being, if you will, you know, like there's another side to it. It's not just it, you know, something you can lose yourself.
When did you first start writing? I mean, was it something that you just grew into, or was it something that...
It's stupid, but I've always enjoyed it. Like you know, the books they make you write when you're in like elementary school, and then they go get them published, and your parents can buy them and stuff like that. Yeah, like everybody else. Well, when we did that, the class was taught by my teacher. Her son-in-law had like fell in the army and like hurt his neck, and like, he was paralyzed and couldn't walk. So a lot of the people wrote stories about how he was walking again and stuff like that. Mine was like some I can't even remember. It was like about a phoenix or something like that, and finding this magic orb and blah 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 blah. So
Phoenix.
Like a phoenix, like the bird, you know, like magic beasts and orbs and all that good crazy stuff. Has to deal with wizards and everything.
Okay, was it graded? Was it graded paper or something?
No, it was just a book that we got to write. We could write about anything we wanted to. And so everybody else like wrote about him. I wrote about that. I was like, screw that, I'm gonna write my own book.
Exactly. Yeah. Do you still have that book?
I don't know. My mom might.
That'd be something to say.
It's probably... I wouldn't even want to read it, man. I was like 6, and you had to draw, too.
Were you ever in creative writing classes, or?
Yeah, I took creative writing classes before I flunked out of high school.
How'd you like that? I mean, how were you doing? Were you, like, passing the class, or?
I was doing okay when I showed up. I mean, that was a lot. They did a lot with poetry and stuff like that. And I still have a lot of those poems. That's you've seen them before. You were my friend during that period of life.
We skipped school a lot.
Yeah, we did. We always had something better to do.
So we thought. I wish to hell right now that I would have stayed in school.
Nah, I mean, I would have liked to have passed, but all in all, you know, you can't go back, man. There's no sense in worrying about it.
Just keep going. Keep on trucking.
Keep on trucking.
Young and insightful fellow.
26 minutes in.
Yeah.
And we've come like an inch on the timeline.
An inch on the timeline? Well, fucking progress, my friend.
Progress with what my inspiration comes from.
Yeah.
For stories.
For stories, for anything in life, to your imagination. What sparks your imagination to make you project yourself in an imaginative way?
I can see it. It's the same way when I write music. I can hear it. Like I write stories in the same way that you direct. You know, you guys, y'all's movie ideas and stuff like that. And then I try to take what I see. I'm just gonna make me sound like a crazy person. Take what I see and write it down on paper. Because I think you have to have some kind of connection to it, or else it wouldn't be any good. It'd just be random stuff generated to be like a computer writing a story. Just put a bunch of words together.
Were you a big reader? Or
I was. I don't read a whole lot anymore, and that I think it's something I'd like to start doing again. I do read. Don't get me wrong. I just don't read a lot. It's hard for me to get into a book and finish it. It's either I'm really into a book and I can't put it down, or like it's just not my thing. Like I don't really do like romance novels, and I used to do a lot of sci-fi back in the day. But like I'm more like science fiction, fantasy slash artsy, trying to say something. Like the best way I could put it is like maybe Ayn Rand and Neil Gaiman. I love Neil Gaiman. I'll read anything by Neil Gaiman.
Yeah, I saw that American Gods book you were talking about.
Yep.
It's a pretty looking book.
Yeah. Oh, the one on my desk.
Yeah, it looks like a Bible.
I know. It's like just sitting there, like, oh, yep, I got it. I also got all the Sandmans too. I need to go through those, but I'm afraid to touch them.
Why?
Because, man, I don't want to ruin them, and I need to get pictures off of them, because I'm gonna get a whole sleeve of tattoos. That's off topic again, Neil Gaiman. So.
I mean, were you a good student? Were you a good kid?
I was good in school because I didn't cause any problems. I was there.
Did you make good grades and everything?
For the most part. Well, the stuff I put my mind to, or the stuff I did. I don't know. I didn't have like a lot. I didn't really have any real friends to like help out, man.
That's
I told
crazy.
you it was always like my brother and me. But like as far as like school friends that hung out and stuff like that, and I always just hung out with my brother and my dad's friends and stuff like that. I didn't have like friends. It was always family. We were out in the sticks, man. It wasn't like I grew up in a neighborhood where there was kids all over the place. The nearest house was like a mile away. We saw people at school, and that was about it.
Now, there are a few people that know you longer than I have. I mean, when did you come back to Hopewell? How old were you then?
I think I made my first friend, I think Victor, when I was like 7 or 8. I hung out with him because we had my birthday party, and Mom was friends with Wendy. Wendy had, kids, which is Victor and Adam.
Yeah.
So I've known Victor since I was maybe like 7 or 8. And then that's when I moved into Hopewell, because we started hanging out all the time. And then I met Drew and Robbie, and started kicking it. And I hung out with Drew and Robbie constantly. They were my peoples, man. From like 5th grade all the way up, and I don't talk to Drew much, It's life. He's dad now, but I mean, I still love Drew to death too.
Was middle school cool for you? Or?
I met Dez in middle school.
Met Dez in middle school.
Yeah, there you go. That's how we should do this. It should just be progression of people that I've met throughout my years, because that's really a lot of what it is, man. It's like experiences with the people that I hold close to me have made me who I am.
Okay, that's a good way of looking at it.
Exactly. It's not like it doesn't really come from a place. It's just. This is my outlook on the situation, and I try to have a positive one, because there's no sense in looking at the world in a bad way, because it's already hard sometimes to smile.
In middle school, you met Dez.
I was in AP classes.
Oh, that's the advanced ones, aren't they?
When I went to middle school, I was in the advanced classes. That's how I met Dez, and Dez played D&D and stuff like that. And I was like, "What? Dungeons and Dragons? Let's go!" I told you I've always been a dork, man.
I think it's nerd.
Nerd, dork. There's no PC word for it. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, all about the D&D. I personally have never really tried D&D. I'm more of a visual person than
mindless self-indulgence. That's what it's about. Yeah, I mean, I understand. D&D is a good game. Don't get me wrong. I don't like it, but it's not the best thing to do. Like, I'd rather have a really good video game than play D&D. Or Magic the Gathering, like a card game or something like that. Something I can see happening. Because I'm like you, I'm very visual.
So would you get together with Dez and be like, let's D&D it up?
Well, yeah, pretty much. First, it was him and this guy named TJ. That was pretty much it, man. Played D&D and stuff, and then I got dropped out of the AP classes because it was more work and with less information, and I was like, this sucks. I just stopped doing it. And they're like, you're failing. And I was like, yay. They're like, we're gonna put you back in normal classes. I was like, yay. So I got put back in normal classes. Oh, and that's about the time I met Maggie too.
You met Maggie in middle school as well?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. So your whole clique went up to high school. Yeah. You grew up with your clique before high school. You were with all your buddies and were like, yeah, guys, we're going to high school.
Yeah, pretty much.
So embarked on that journey together. What was high school like? I know the high school...
Well, me and Des didn't hang out a whole lot in high school, to be honest with you, man. Me and Des didn't. We didn't get really tight till after high school. Like, we were still cool, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He just hung out with different people than me. So it was. I was never at school. I had a very small clique compared to some people. Everybody can say what they will, but in high school, there was only a couple people I hung out with, and that was usually out of school. I didn't like school, man. I didn't like what it was about. People were like, oh, what education? Oh, no, I don't mind education. I hate quota.
The status quo.
Yeah, you need to do this by this. It's like, if I want to learn something, then you should give me... AJ's about to fall off the bed right now. You're a weird dog. It's about, alright, I would make good grades, and I wouldn't show up. I would make A's and B's, and they'd turn into F's because I wasn't there. It seemed like they weren't gearing you for intellectual... Like,
they didn't want you to get too smart.
No, it's not even about how smart or what you learned. It was more about work ethic. It makes sense. Show up to school on time, turn in your homework, and you'll pass. But if you understand it, and you want to learn something more, you're out of luck.
I was always one of those kids that was like, you're fucking smart, but you don't do your work.
Yeah, that's the same thing.
Because you go to school, you do all the tests, you be sweating the tests, you ace the test, the whole fucking week you wouldn't do no homework, and then you wonder why your grades an F or a D.
Yeah.
I was the same way. I just never did my work. Yeah.
I knew it. I always loved English. English and science all the way up until like chemistry and stuff like that. But I was never really good at math, so.
I like chemistry because the last day of school we made ice cream.
That's one of those fond school memories. I was so depressed in school. You remember me in high school, man. I wasn't like an emo kid, but I just did not want to be there. You'd see me at school and I'd be like, what up? And you'd see me outside of school
you had
and I'd
this
be like,
long, scrangly hair.
Everybody thought I was a girl.
You wore the big 4X t-shirt on a medium-sized body. And you'd fucking sag your pants unwillingly.
Mm-hmm.
And because you... I guess we're too poor to afford a belt.
No, I just didn't wear a belt. I didn't care.
Fuck a belt, man. I'm too cool.
No, it wasn't that I was too cool.
It's like fuck peeling. Peeling for losers.
I just did what I did. I didn't care how I looked for school. Maybe that's my problem. I don't care about other people. They're like, this guy looks horrible. He's a douchebag and he looks poor and his shirt's too big. And I'm just like, who are you again?
But the thing that always got me is that you were such a small guy, but you had the biggest fucking book bag. It was like you took everything that was supposed to be in your locker. You carried that shit all the time.
I didn't go to my locker.
Walking to school looking like a motherfucking turtle, an old man fucking turtle.
Oh, dude. My backpack was so cute. I didn't go to my locker ever. I half the time I couldn't even remember the combination, dude. But when everybody cleaned out their locker, I would never have to clean out my locker. Just kept the lock on there. It's like, here you go. I hated dressing out for PE too.
Oh, so did I.
Hated it.
I remember the first time I shaved my legs, I dressed out for PE and I was freaking out because I was wondering if people were going to notice it. But then I realized that a lot of guys in high school shaved their legs. Not necessarily for the reasons I did it, but they were running for sports and shit. I just did it.
I didn't care. I just I put on these shorts and this shirt, okay? And then you're like, you know what pissed me off? They were like, okay, everybody can do what you guys want to. And I was like, alright, so the girls would, walk laps, and the guys would play basketball. I had no interest in basketball. I'm not good at it. But so I would play
with the girls?
No, so I'd play hacky sack by myself, right? I'd just be like, I got this. You can't do that. Why? Because it's not a physical. It's hacky sack. They're walking. So what you're saying is I either have to play basketball or walk. I just didn't get it. I was like, what is your problem? I'm playing hacky sack. This doesn't count. I'm gonna fail because
I never dressed out in PE because one being very self-conscious, but then again I just didn't like sports. I was like, walking, doing shit, fuck that.
I don't mind sports. I was never really good at them. I never applied myself to them. I did, however, love karate. I was very athletic in the sense that I played skateboard. I skateboarded a lot when I was younger. I was always rollerblading, skateboarding, or doing
Yeah,
something.
tell me about the karate stuff. How'd you get into that?
Ever since I was little, man. There's something about it. I love the Ninja Turtles.
So there was always a certain sense of discipline with you, I guess. Then
What, with the karate?
yeah.
No, I didn't ever formally start taking karate till I met Mike. He trained me. But before that, I was still, when Mike met me, I could swing a bow staff the same way I could today. That's why my mom introduced me to Mike. She was like, he can teach you, how to be better with the bow staff. But I already knew how to do the hand rolls, and there's a lot of me smacking myself in the face with sticks when I was little. But like the Ninja Turtles, and I loved how Donatello swung his staff, so I could do the figure eights and all that stuff and behind my back. My dad loved it. My dad thought it was awesome. I had like a little metal pole and I'd swing broom handles and stuff like that. I actually was pretty decent with the bow staff when I was younger before I ever met Mike. And then Mike taught me how to use it properly, and we went on from there. And I like the idea of martial arts as for not saying like self-defense, but being able, because what it comes down to, any form of self-defense is either the ability to get away or the ability to incapacitate your opponent. So it's the power to hurt someone, or the power to hurt someone enough to get away. You get what I'm saying? I don't like being a victim, so to speak. Like I'm not one of those people that would stand by and watch 10 guys beat up this one dude that didn't do anything wrong. Even if it's going to maybe cost me my life, it's still not right. You can't just, if you let it go.
Vigilante.
I'm not a vigilante. I'm not, because I think there's a time and a place. You never know. A homeboy could have killed one of their friends. There's certain things, but if it was somebody I knew, then I'd help. And that's the point. I still need that. Like I know what I know to protect the people I care about. But I mean, as far as me, I'll protect myself. But I probably wouldn't fight as hard as I would for me as I would
for somebody else.
Yeah.
That's the thing about you. You got more guts than you do brains. You can die because some dude stole somebody's purse. And you're gonna be, that's not right. Shoot you with a gun. I said,
You always do laser guns. Dude, we were saying and talk for an hour, dude. I think we're gonna have to call it on the first one. Let's get something like set down real quick.
What do you want to see the world at in 5 years?
In 5 years?
Yeah.
I think my opinions on certain things have changed over the years. When I was like 19, I was all about, revolution and anarchy and fuck the government. Gotta look deeper into stuff. But it's like that old saying, like, the closer you stare at the world, the farther away it stares from you. I'm at a point in my life now where I want to be able to exist comfortably. I'm tired of worrying about the world. I just want, what would be perfect for me in 5 years is if I was able to take care of the people I love, so my mom wouldn't have to work as hard, and we'd be able to have a stable house. That's all I want, man. I just want a house, the internet, my friends.
Your house, the internet,
my friends, man.
So I can still play WoW.
My video games and my friends, and I'm happy with it, dude. That's what you gotta find, the simpler things in life, right? And I would absolutely love to have the financial freedom, maybe to go different places and see parts of the world. Because that's what I said. That's what makes me who I am. That's where I'm at right now. In 5 years, it could completely change. I could go to Amsterdam or Ireland or some crazy place that I've always wanted to go and see something that changes my mind so drastically. Because the only constant is change, man.
The only constant is change?
Yeah, it's a saying. That's what my uncle told me. The only constant is change.
What do you want from life?
What do I want from life? I want to make the people that care about me proud. I want to do something, because it bothers me when people tell me that I have talent or so much potential and just don't do anything with it.
It's just kind of like, that's the pressure.
It's not like pressure that they're like, you got talent, you don't do anything, blah blah blah. They're just like, you have so much stuff, I just want to prove them right, because sometimes I don't necessarily see it. You know that when we write songs and stuff like that, I don't like the way I sound when I sing, and it's something that I gotta get over, but I just don't see myself in that aspect. But I don't think I owe it to them, but I just want them to be right. Maybe do something drastic. I'd like to be maybe famous or something so I could give everybody what they wanted. But essentially, I'm not doing it for me, though. I'm doing it for the people that I care about. And like I have fun making music and something that I'd want to do professionally. But if you paid for me to have, a place to sleep and something to eat, that's what I consider professional. I could live touring, but I'd want to know my mom would be okay.
All right. Well, before we finish, tell me a story.
A story?
A story. It could be anything. Just something in your life so far that has really impacted you, and kind of put like there's another nugget of why I am who I am.
Does it have to be like a small thing that kind of like freaked me out and made me have revelation, or like something really big that happened in my life?
Either or, dude. This is your stage.
Okay. I know it's like this is maybe the most recent. I'd say about 2 years ago, almost 3 now, when Dad passed away. It changed a lot about the way I look at things as far as life and death and afterlife and all that. Beforehand, I was always told not to be blind to the world, so I kept my eyes on it. You know what I mean? Like I focused on what made people tick and how they acted, and this is the reason, don't play ignorant to certain factors, and so I never really had time to
appreciate.
Well, not to think. I've never been a really religious person. I've been superstitious, but never really religious, And I've always thought there's something out there. Maybe that's why we're here, Like I'm for that. That makes sense to me, and science and everything makes sense to me too. So I was one of those contradicting people, I was like, yeah. I believe because I was raised into believing things that, well, not raised to believe in things that don't exist, but raised to be open-minded about things.
And believe in things you can't necessarily see.
Exactly, But the other part of me was, don't deny the evidence that is here, But when my dad died, it changed a lot, because I don't care who you are, and even if you don't believe in an afterlife, so you're agnostic, when somebody you care about, I don't know, I'm not trying to say anything bad about those people, but when he died, it's hard to think that's it, It's like you want them to be somewhere waiting for you, you know what I mean?
You want to be able to see
them.
And
then for him to see you, to see me, and to hear me, in some way, because, I love my dad.
Yeah.
I love playing music for him. I love to see him smile, fighting guns, and, you just don't, the hardest part about all of it was, you want to believe in him so much, because you don't want to lose him. And I've experienced this. It's when you forget certain things about them that you, at that point, you do begin to lose them. Like when it first happens, everything's fresh in memory, and you just saw them yesterday and stuff like that. But as it goes, you start to forget about like little things that they would say or do, stuff like that, or like cartoons. My dad would wake up with me every morning on Saturday morning and watch X-Men with me. He loved X-Men. So that's like one of my fondest memories. And it's just like when you do start to forget, then you do lose. So you want to hold on to some part of them. And then it makes you think about what you leave behind. If something like that would be happening to you, which pushes you to be more towards something that would leave a legacy, prove other people right. Our music,
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you said, it's one of those things that make you who you are. I just, I miss them sometimes.
I know you do. I know you're gonna make him proud too.
I don't know about that, man.
Yeah, you got it, bro.
Yeah.
You got it.
But that's...
And I appreciate you letting me talk to you and record it.
Yeah, it's alright, man.
Say bye to the people.
Bye, people. I was just rambling.
You're just rambling.
I'm rambling and gambling.
Hopefully we can
I need a cigarette.
Explain to these people.
Over due time.
Yes.
Maybe. I don't know if they listen.
Alright. Later.
Peace.
Well, there you go, guys. This concludes the debut edition of the Off the Top of the Dome Piece podcast with my buddy Cavan, and I got a little touchy there at the end, but it was fun. It was nice being able to sit down and talk with him and kind of get his story out there to you guys, and I hope that you got to see why I consider him to be my best friend. He's a very big, important part of my life. He's very supportive of this podcast. This is why, incidentally, he is the very first guest on the podcast. For any comments, questions, anything you want to suggest for the podcast, please visit dubzpodsquad.com. You can go through there and you'll be able to contact me or leave suggestions with the contact form on there, or just email me and and let me know how I'm doing, or what you would change, or what you think I should change, or what you think would make this podcast a little better. My email is Dubz, that's DUBZ, at dubspodsquad.com. On that note, I will end this podcast, and I hope you got to hear an extraordinary story from a seemingly ordinary person. For Off the Top of the Dome piece, I'm Warren. Thanks.